When I started my woodworking business, a local furniture maker told me that if you want to make it with a furniture business, you need at least one big CNC machine and you have to build kitchens and stairs. Otherwise, you will not be able to compete. This made me extremely discouraged. First of all, I didn't want to have that type of business. I did not have the space and definitely not the money to invest in something that big. And I didn't want to take the risk of taking up a loan of that size. Of course, this was well-meaning advice and that's certainly one way of making a living with a woodworking business, but I'm convinced that it's not the only way, and this past month I got my first big proof of that. In this video I'm going to show you the exact products I've been selling this past month, what my expenses were, and how you can make money from this as well. Now before we get into this, we need to address a future elephant in the room. This thing. So I'm using a laser cutter to make these products. This is the Xtool P2 CO2 laser cutter, and this is a big investment. If you're going to buy this new, it will cost you $5,000. But here is the deal. You don't need a laser cutter like this to make the products that I'm about to show you. These products can be made on any laser cutter that can engrave wood. For instance, the Xtool D1, which right now is available for under $600. So I love the P2, I highly recommend it, and I have a link in the description if you want to check it out, but you don't need this to make the products that I'm about to show you. So a little over a month ago I got this laser, I started playing around with it, I made some products, and I posted one single story on my Instagram which only had like 200 followers at the time. And from that story I got my first 4 sales. That's when I realized I was onto something. So I kept posting and the sales started coming in like crazy. And fast forward to 1 month later and I've sold for $8,300. Now I have used one strategy in particular that I've never heard anyone else talk about, and it has given me half of the sales. And I'll share more of that later in the video, but first the question you've probably figured out by now: what products have I been selling? Good morning guys, it is a beautiful day here in Norway, a little bit of snow, -7 degrees Celsius, and it's a perfect day to finish up some cutting boards. So today I'm finishing up a batch of 60 cutting boards. 51 of them are for the same customer. I engraved them yesterday and the day before, and today I'm putting on the finish. So this is what I'm making: engraved cutting boards. I started selling them exactly 1 month ago and I've sold for a total of $8,300. Notice that that's not the profit, that's how much I've sold for in total, but I'll get into more details about that later in the video. So I've got a few different sizes on my cutting boards with some different engravings. Most of the cutting boards have a Bible verse on them, which definitely limits the potential customers, but I think that that's a good thing. If you try to reach too broad, there is a risk that you'll reach no one. I also made it possible for people to have a personalized engraving, but even though I charge a little more for that, it takes a lot more time, and I'm not sure if that's worth it for cutting boards. Now, I'm from Norway and I'm selling in Norway, so all of my engravings are in Norwegian, but I have made English versions of all of my laser templates, and if you want to buy them, they are available on my website, baloni.com. I've got to be honest, this almost feels like cheating, and the reason I say that is I don't even make the cutting boards myself. I buy batches of unbranded rough cutting boards, I sand them down, engrave them, sand them again, and then finish them and add a leather strap, and that's all I do. Of course I could have made the cutting boards from scratch, but that would take a lot more time and I'd have to at least double the price in order for it to be profitable for me, and it also requires a lot more tools and machines. The way that I do it now, all you need is a sander and a laser cutter, and that's it. let's take a look at how I managed to sell over 200 cutting boards in just 1 month. So I knew that I had a good product, and now it was all about getting eyeballs on it. With a social media following of just 200, it's very limited how many customers you can get, and that is why I decided to do giveaways. I did 2 giveaways during this month, and they both did very well. Just make sure you are giving away the actual products that you're selling and not something else. That way, people get to see your products, and hopefully a lot of people will share it. With this strategy, not only did I get a lot of sales after the giveaway was done, but I also doubled my following, which has led to more orders for products that I will make later. Here's a little pro tip. Make sure you read the Facebook or Instagram guidelines for giveaways and follow those guidelines. I did not do that on the first giveaway, and I could have gotten into trouble, but luckily I got away with it. The second strategy is one that I haven't heard anyone else talk about, but it got me most of my sales. Getting customers who are buying 1 or 2 cutting boards is really nice, but it can also be very time consuming if they're going to have different prints. So you have to stay in control of what type of board they want, what type of print they want, and you also have to deal with a lot of customers. There's a lot less headache if you can get one client to buy many cutting boards with the same print. So one day I was sitting in my shop doing absolutely nothing when I started thinking, it's soon Christmas. Most companies give Christmas gifts for their employees. I'm selling cutting boards with Bible verses. Now, what sort of company would give that to their employees? That's when it hits me. Christian private schools. So I grabbed my MacBook and found a list of all the Christian private schools in my area. Turns out there are about 20 of them. I sent them an email. I gave them a short introduction and said, hey, I've got an idea for a Christmas gift that you can give to your employees. I gave them 3 offers with discounts and some pictures and sent it away. After a few days, I finally got a reply, and I managed to get 2 big orders of a total of 96 cutting boards. And now in month 2, I got another one at 44 cutting boards. So try to think about, are there any companies who would be interested in buying a large batch of your product? Maybe like a car sales company. They'll usually give a gift to their customers when they're selling a new car. Could you be the one making that gift and selling it to the car sales company? The same goes for real estate. You'll usually get a gift from the real estate agent when you are buying a new house. So try to think of companies who would want to buy a large batch of your products. That is where the big money is, and that's where you can just make a bunch of the exact same products and you can make them a lot quicker. So now let us take a look at the exact numbers. My total income was $8,300. The prices for the cutting boards varied from $40 to $90 per cutting board, but for the clients who ordered a large amount, I gave them some discounts. And for the expenses, which includes the cutting boards, the finish, sandpaper, and the leather straps, was at $2,366. And so the profit before taxes, VATs, and electricity and so on was $5,934. That is a profit margin of 71.5%. So hopefully that gives you some inspiration and helps you see that you don't need a huge shop with a lot of expensive tools in order to make good money with woodworking. We all have to start somewhere, and if you want to, you could invest the money you make into buying more tools and machines. It's all about being creative and not limiting yourself. Now, if you want to make the exact cutting boards that I've made, all of my laser templates are available on my website, baloni.com. So making money like this is great, but the problem is I'm not going to sell this much after Christmas. That's just how it is. Most of the sales are Christmas gifts. But here is the good news. A few months ago, I made a product that can sell all year around, and I'm making more profit per sale than the cutting boards, and you don't need a laser for it. I made a video on it. You can check it out here. There's also some woodworking plans available. Just click right here to watch this video.